Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. When we last left off, we had an interesting encounter with a mimic created, where we had it summon a water serpent in the lava, which does not end very well. It winds up getting us some cooked meat, which heals one person's HP completely. But that is only going to happen if we enrage the mimic. Next, we're going to choose the option where we get a different sort of item. So the first option was with Ook, and the next option is going to be with Screech. Oop, don't copy, paste. Okay. Yeesh. We're gonna make if you're going to make a scene, hold it, just take the item. And we're going to once again go back to the Inferno to steal some of the script from this treasure chest. So from here it'll be sound effect. Yeah, it'll be from here. And as for what the item is going to be, this is in fact going to be a different item, but I'm not entirely sure what is going to get called. Basically, it's going to be another healing item, but this one is going to be MP, and it's basically going to have the same effect, aside from healing MP. So, any ideas, anybody in the chat, for the name of an item that would restore all of your MP? Come up with an interesting one, and we'll go ahead and use it. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and do something else while I'm thinking about it. So, I have done some things to kind of reduce the amount of events being used here and there. So I have a few events to spare. And what I'm basically going to do is throw in a few random events that will have sort of a wind sound effect. Just real quick. So, I'm going to give these a graphics just to demonstrate what they do, but they're not going to have graphics by the time I'm done with them. And these are all going to kind of chase the player. That way, the trigger locations are seemingly random. So, every time you step on one of these, it's going to be a sound effect. It'll be like the C sound effect, but we're going to lower it all the way down so that it sounds like that. That's kind of an eerie sound effect for wind, sort of. Good effect considering we're in the cave that is hanging over the sky. And I'm just going to throw these various places. I'm going to go ahead and put one here. Leave that island there. I think this one I'll kind of... Where do I want to put this one? Here? Yeah, we'll go with there. And we'll put this one here. We'll also have one here. Have one in the middle of this bridge, perhaps. Have one on the floating island, and that is all my events. That Zergling is asking why that water serpent from before has an agility of 9,999. I wanted to go first in battle, because that way it'll use up the Oh Gosh Why spell, which costs exactly how much HP it has. It'll use up all of its HP from that. Otherwise, if the player has a chance to deal damage to the water serpent, it won't have enough MP, or rather, it won't have enough HP to use Oh Gosh Why and ruin the joke. So let's go ahead and hop into test play real quick to see how some of this actually looks right now. In fact, we'll go ahead and test out the serpent while we're at it. Random snapshots along the way for the ending. And Beer Force is heading back to work. Alright, thanks for visiting while you can. I'm gonna skip past the slime puzzle because I've already tested it plenty of times. Skipping it doesn't hurt anything in this case because it doesn't actually affect anything down below. Oh yeah, I also changed up a couple things here. For one thing, I had the screen immediately black out there, and also I had a sound of Jenny landing. So there's some of the wind. Again, we can see the wind things sitting there, but I'm going to make them invisible before we're done. Might as well grab you. And before I forget, I'm going to go into settings and turn random encounters off. And we happen to miss that one twice, because I'm going like this way. Still missing that one, but that's okay. Because it dodged me! You're not supposed to dodge me! Well, this one's not gonna. And we'd get whatever treasure is in here. And the player has the option of moving along this way. Okay, just to explain this part real quick. We of course have this boulder here still, but now it most definitely obvious that it would only be able to be pushed in one direction. That way being down, because it's kind of on a chain. Some more wind. The player would see that down there. They'd also see this up here, but doing this doesn't get anywhere, and Jenny is now floating, kind of. Whatever, we'll just say she's hanging on to the mesh there. And so the player would try to make their way back, because they got a different switch they need to flip. By the way, I have random encounters turned off for test play, but of course they'd be there for when the player is actually playing. Normally, I would suggest not having any random encounters whenever the player is in the middle of a puzzle, because if you're lost trying to solve a puzzle, it's even more annoying when you're having to deal with random encounters while you're lost. But in this case, I decided to go ahead and just have them, because we got Daristrix who can use Roar to scare away random encounters. Granted, Daristrix is an optional character, and So if the player hasn't gotten Terrastrix, definitely going to have random encounters. But hey, that's just how it is. Now let's see how this is. I need to change it so that I press X and not bump into it. Because right now, you bump into it to open it. Yargle Bargle! Do you want to fight a weak monster or a strong monster? Ook or Screech? Oh gosh, I don't know which one would be the right one. Okay, I'm going to assume Ook because it's not as loud, and loud might bring bigger monsters. So, Ook for weak? Ook? What the heck is Ook supposed to mean? You know what? Screw it. You get the strong monster. Oh no! Okay, we need to like take this thing super seriously. Everybody use your strongest attacks or something. Oh gosh, why? And then it dies. And we get cooked meat. Okay. Wait, what just happened? Ah, crap. Did I summon a water serpent again? You know what? Never mind. I don't feel like challenging you now. I did not do something correctly there. I bet you I forgot to set the condition for the second page. Yep, that is indeed the case. So we need 19. I said 19. And that'll work now. So that is basically my line of reasoning for that. And now that I've demonstrated how the wind is sort of supposed to work, now we'll go ahead and make it invisible so they don't stand out. And from here, let's go ahead and start working on these monsters. So let's start with, these are dungeons. Let's start with the Harpy. I'm not sure what stats to go with yet, but I do know at the very least what sort of attacks the Harpy is going to have. Along with a regular attack, the Harpy is also going to know a spell. We'll just call it Gust. Gonna flap its wings hard at us, so hard that it actually hurts us. Honestly, it's a sort of attack you find in video games that, logically speaking, shouldn't hurt you because, I don't know, how often have you been hurt by the wind? Now, if there's debris in the wind, sure, but the wind itself is not going to hurt you, unless you're in a video game. And unfortunately for my video game characters here, they are in a video game. So this is going to be a non-elemental attack that is going to hit a single person. Let's see. Charm Gust, Call Upon Gust, Hurl Gust, Miscut, Gather, Exhale, Release Gust, Call Forth. Which one of these would be better, I wonder? I mean, it's not exhaling a gust, even though that would make sense in certain circumstances. This is not one of those circumstances. Maybe Hurl. We'll go with Hurl. Now, the graphics that I want to use... Well, starting off, it's not going to have a graphic. In fact, it's not going to have a graphic until the third action. And it'll have this graphic. Start real small and get medium. Start at the top of the screen and going down to the bottom. It's going to side spin. And now let's go ahead and get the sound effects in here. So the sound I decided on... which one was it? Oh, this one. So that's the sound of it using... It's flapping its wings, basically. Now, one kind of dumb thing about RPG Maker 1, even though the graphic is all the way at Action 3, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3 right now, because Action 2 has nothing in it. If there's nothing in Action 2, it skips it. Honestly, if there's nothing in Action 2, it should just not do anything for a moment. It should go 1, 2, 3, but right now it's actually going 1, 3. That's kind of dumb. Anyway, it's going to flap a couple of times before finally getting the wind going at us, which will be this sound effect right here. So there's our attack. And I'm not sure offhand how much damage I want it to cause. We can kind of figure that out as we go along. For the moment, I just want to have these guys be given their attacks. So you get Gus, and it's probably going to be... pretty decent chance of it happening. So that's your situation. Next, we're going to deal with the burnt flower, or the melted flower, which I'm going to rename to burnt flower. And let's see, the first thing I'm going to do, since it is already burned, it's kind of hard to burn things that are already burned, so I'm actually going to make it immune to fire. So what is I'm going to do here? Ah yes, I'm going to have it always steal MP. Now there is a magic spell that does the same thing, but I kind of want to see what it's like to have the action steal MP instead of the spell steal MP. Now, to make up for the fact that it's always stealing your MP, I am going to create a healing item that heals MP, but not very much. We're going to say 5 for now. Depends on how much it actually steals. I might have it recover more. Oh, hold on a sec. Let's name this. We're going to name it... Let's go with burned leaf. Or, I guess, burnt leaf, for the sake of consistency. And it is always going to drop these. Okay, the next up is the Sky Coil. The one enemy here that does not have any sort of element. Which reminds me, it's not really important, but just for funsies, I'm gonna give the Water Serpent water element. Alright, Sky Coil. So what do I want the Sky Coil to do? I want it to do several things. First off, it's not going to have a normal attack, it's going to have a charge attack, which is basically cause double damage, but whoever it attacks gets a chance to counterattack it. There's also a chance where this guy is going to guard. He's also going to have a couple of spells. So let's go ahead and create a couple more spells. And these spells are going to be called Stone Sleep. Fitting, given that they're gargoyles. So this is gonna go ahead and cause sleep on one person. You know what? Just for the oxymoron, we're gonna say awake stone sleep. It doesn't make any sense, but I just like it. Alright, so for the graphics, it's gonna be the big old rock twice. And what I'm going to do is have this fall apart starting off using the side spin, so it's kind of an implosion. But I'm also going to make it start off like small, so that it's not like it's exploding, but sort of forming. Kind of like that. It's the best I can do. There is no pull together option, so that's how we're doing it. And for the sound effect, I have decided on sound 38. And there's going to be two versions of this. One makes you fall to sleep. Second is petrify. Because after all, it's a stone sleep. Sometimes you sleep light, sometimes you sleep heavy. So, magic, stone sleep, magic, the other stone sleep. So, how do I want to do this? Probably only a 15% chance of using stone sleep. The petrify version, which itself has low odds of actually working. And this next one will be probably a 35 chance of just regular sleep. Sometimes it'll guard. I don't like these odds. Let's go ahead and lower this to 30 and have it 34% chance, 35% chance of charging attack. So basically, this is 45% chance of using stone sleep of some sort, and 55% chance of not trying to make you suffer from the gargoyle's rest. And that'll be the Sky Goyle. Next up, Mini-Man. He has multiple arms, multiple weapons. It makes sense that this guy has the opportunity to attack more than once in battle. So I'm going with the multi-attack option, which will allow it to attack 3 times per turn. So let's see here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 weapons. So 75% of the time it's going to use a regular attack. But there's also that magic rod there. We'll go ahead and create a spell for him now. Ignite. Fire magic. It's going to inflict damage on one person. Let's see here. Gonna be that. And what have I decided? Start kind of below, kind of grow, kind of flash, and then from here turn out, but just so it's not getting super big like that, we'll have it shrink so it stays sort of within that range there. And sound effect. That sound effect right there. Along with and there we go. That is that spell created. I'll worry about once again I'll worry about how strong these all are as we go along. For the moment, let's go ahead and get Manny Man his spell. And there we go. All the monsters have their stuff. Now comes the fun part. Getting all this balanced. And we will go ahead and do that after the episode break. And hopefully before too long, we'll start working on the next section of this dungeon. Hopefully.